I'm always looking to the future, you know. This is a little story I wrote upon rising from my long sleep. It's called Oppenheimer Eyes. Hope I can read this. Oh, radical, Chrissy says. At first it seems like she's talking to me, but then I realize she's plugged in. Her eyes are intent and focused, but not on me. She's enwrapped in some image projected on her net specs. Her brow is furrowed as she listens to something on her earbuds. I can see her eyes track a bit. Then she jumps as if she's startled, and she squeals, "Ooh!" I can only guess what she's into. Opera Squadron, maybe? Jackboot Lust? Almighty Alice? Or some other Intervision classic streaming from the satellite feed. Glitzy, commercialized junk. All of it. My Oppenheimers are set on max, and I suddenly realize that I don't like what I'm seeing. I used to be so enamored of Chrissy's cool blue eyes, her slightly upturned nose, her unblemished skin and smooth features. But now all I see is a vacant stare as she lip syncs in silent harmony to a pop band that's projected on the inner lenses of her net spec glasses. I take off my Oppenheimers, but the scene doesn't change much. Chrissy sees me looking at her and stirs from her groove. She touches the temple piece of her net specs to turn the volume down. Then she puts her hand on my shoulder. "What's the matter, Sugar Bear? You're looking sad." I shake my head because I really don't know what to say. Chrissy says, "Hey, baby, check out this new band I'm watching. They're raving good." She offers me her net specs. I put them on and take a look. It may be a new band, but it's the same old stuff as far as I can tell. 3 retro punks with guitars and a drummer on a surreal set with lots of colors and visual effects. Damn, I don't see how Chrissy can watch this stuff for hours. I look past the video view through the pastel lenses at Chrissy. Her features are diffused by the glasses. She looks like a painting with her sculpted hair and purple eyeshadow to excess. Now she puts on my Oppenheimers for a stylish look. Her mouth forms an O. She's amazed, like she's looking at the world for the first time. Yeah, Oppenheimers tend to do that to you. A couple of weeks ago, when I found that pair of Oppenheimers in the gutter, I thought it was my lucky day. Imagine a top-of-the-line sensory intensifier in perfect condition. Well, almost. There was a scratch on the right temple piece, but it barely showed. You wouldn't know it was there if you weren't looking, but even second-hand Oppenheimers cost more than I could afford. I tried them on and wow. It's really hard to describe what an Oppenheimer sensory intensifier does to your perception. It's almost insidious because it's subtle at low intensity. A blue sky becomes intensely blue, sort of like what you see through polarized sunglasses. But then, if you turn the intensity up, you discover that you never knew just how blue the sky could be. It becomes a deep, vibrant, majestic sort of blue, and you've never seen anything like it before. It's enchanting. You start to groove on the richness of all the colors around you, the greenness of a leaf or the metallic brightness of passing cars. White, yellow, red, silver, gray, all streaking past, leaving traces of color in their wakes. And you hear the hiss of tires receding or the approaching roar of thundering engines. Oh yes, sounds too are monstrous and magical. Somehow the earpieces of an Oppenheimer unit transmit vibration directly to your brain. Every little noise and nick sends a tingle down your spine. The world unfolds around you, blooming like a flower in time-lapse to envelop you in a panoply of shapes and sounds, textures that you've seen before, but never like this. The wonder of it mesmerizes you. It confounds and intrigues you. It thrills you to the core and absorbs you. It's so intense it even frightens you, sometimes to the point of paralysis. That may sound like an exaggeration, but it's not. After I'd warned the Oppenheimers for a few minutes, I dialed the intensity up. The very street I was standing beside became impassable, an expanse of textured asphalt with heat waves rising. It looked as forbidding as Death Valley. When cars whizzed by, drivers scowled at me sidelong, and it seemed to give the vehicles themselves a distinctly evil character. I retreated from the curb to the safety of the trees, only to discover that the trees themselves were alive with an eerie sort of presence. I felt like a shaman. I could sense the spirit of the trees. I know it sounds weird and it's a hard thing to describe, but evergreen trees are sinister. They were brushy and dark, and their branches reached toward me like arms. I had to take the Oppenheimers off, and even then I still looked at everything with newfound awe. It took a while just to regain my equilibrium so that I could make my way to Chrissy's apartment. Now, I'm looking at Chrissy, and she's looking at me. She didn't dial the Oppenheimers back before she put them on. That O of amazement is morphing into shock. Obviously, the intensity is too high. Her eyes widen and her jaw drops. "Here, baby, let me help you," I say. I take the glasses off her face. She blinks hard and rubs her eyes. She's breathing fast. Her pupils are constricted and her neck veins pulse visibly. "My God, how can you stand those things?" she says. "You have the intensity maxed out," I tell her. "You need to start low and work up gradually. I found that out the hard way too." She looks at me for a moment with a pinched, implacable expression. Then she looks away. "What's the matter, babe?" I try to give her a hug, but she doesn't respond. Just crosses her arms and stands rigid. "Come on, Chrissy. Don't let those Oppenheimers freak you out. Try them with the intensity down. Take some time to get used to them." "It's not that," she says. "It's you." "Me? What do you mean?" She stares, daggers at me for a minute, then looks away. My stomach starts to churn because I suddenly realize what must have happened. With the Oppenheimers at full blast, she looked at me and saw something distorted and frightening, maybe ugly. "Chrissy, listen, those glasses exaggerate everything you see. It's like looking through a fisheye. Everything is magnified. It's not real." "Oh, yes, it is," she replies. She looks away again, and I feel helpless in the silence. I'm searching for the right words to say. I open my mouth, but nothing comes out. "Ever since you found those things," Chrissy says, "you never talk to me anymore. All you say is, 'My good, my God, look at that. Look at this leaf, look at this flower, look at this bug on the ground.' It's just, oh my God, my God, my God, my God. Everything's amazing. Everything's profound. Everything's awesome." But I look and all I see is a leaf or a bug or a flower. Nothing amazing, nothing profound. It's just stuff. I feel like she just ripped my heart out and stomped on it. My face is hot and my heart is pounding. Suddenly I'm yelling at her, "Oh yeah? Well, you're not exactly the most sparkling conversationalist yourself, you know. All you do is hide behind those net specs and ogle your boy band heroes, singing out of key to music nobody else can hear, jabbering on about Almighty Alice or some other manufactured punk sensation. Gad, how can you listen to that crap anyway?" "I happen to like Almighty Alice," she says. "I don't need intensifiers to hear the contempt in her voice. Well, I happen to like my Oppenheimers too, so there." At this point, I make the mistake of putting the Oppenheimers on. The intensifier setting is high. Chrissy's cool blue eyes are bulging and her smooth, girlish features are twisted with rage. Her heavy purple eyeshadow she looks like an evil clown. This is not the girl I know, and definitely not the girl I fell in love with. I take the Oppenheimers off and try to push this awful image of Chrissy out of my brain. We turn away from each other, each of us retreating into our own heads. I stare at the window and Chrissy hides behind her net specs. After a while she says to me, "There's a flash party going down in Silky's. I don't think you want to go, do you?" I think about it. Imagine a sea of writhing bodies and limbs and a humid dance hall flashing with strobes and neon and a tooth-rattling bass beat. "No, I don't want to go," I say. "I guess I'll head back to my place." I put the Oppenheimers on as I'm walking, and I noticed that it's a gray, dismal day. I never noticed how dismal the days are this time of year. The mist of a colorless fog coats the streets with misery. I take the Oppenheimers off in hopes that the day will seem a bit brighter without them, but it doesn't. I feel lonely and dejected and hopeless. I don't know why I thought these Oppenheimers were so neat. I shake my head, toss them into the gutter, and walk on into the mist.